Hello everyone, I am Shanmugha Priya, Assistant Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at Hindustan College of Engineering and Technology. First, we will start with a basic introduction to function in C. Introduction to function in C, function declaration, function definition, function call, function prototype, parameter and arguments, function argument and return type, types of function. Let's talk about the function in C programming. A function is a group of statements that do a specific job. When we call a function, those statements will run. Function help us avoid writing the same code again and again. So we write the code once inside a function and use it whenever we need it. This makes our program simple and easy to manage. The function is written with some rules. The code inside the function is written within curly brackets. There are three types of functions: function declaration, function definition, function call. First one, function declaration says the function is there. Function definition, write what the function will do. Next, function call, we tell the program to run the function. Okay, now let's understand function declaration in C. Before using a function in our program, we first need to declare it. This tells the compiler that a function exists and what kind of the data it will work with. This is the basic format syntax for declaring a function. Return type, name of the function, parameter 1, parameter 2. Let's look at this example. Int sum, int a, int b. Here int is the return type. It means the function will return an integer value. Sum is the name of function. Inside the bracket, int a and int b are the parameters. They are input to the function. Don't forget the semicolon at the end. That's important in declaration. Now let's see what a function definition means. When we define a function, we write the actual code, the real instruction that will run when we call the function. This is called the body of the function. Here the syntax is return type, function name, parameter 1, parameter 2. Let's break it down. Return type tells what type of value the function will give back, like int, float, or void, if it does not return anything. And then function name is the name we give the function, for example, sum, add, etc. And another one is inside the brackets, we give input values called parameters. And then inside the curly braces, we write the statement the step of function should do. For example, int add, int a, comma, int b, return a plus b. Here the function add takes two numbers and return their sum. Okay, now let's learn about function calls in C. A function call simply means we are telling the compiler to run the function. We do this by using a function name and passing the required values, which are called parameters. For example, in this code shown here, we have a function called sum that takes two numbers, a and b. It returns their addition inside a main function. We are calling the sum function like sum 10 and 30. That means we are sending 10 and 30 to the function. It adds them, gives the result 40. So the line int add equal to sum 10 and 30. Store the result 40 in the variable. Then we print the using printf sum is percentage %d add. This is how a function call works. It connects the main program with a reusable block of code. In this slide, we discuss about function prototype. Function prototype is like a declaration of a function. It tells the compiler in advance. First one, what the function's name. Second one, what type of value it will return. Third one, what kind of argument it will take. First one, we can call a function either with argument or without argument. Also, the function may return a values or it may not return anything. Look at the example on slide. Int heading void. This is a prototype. It means there is a function called heading that takes no arguments and return an integer. Prototype is helpful because the compiler knows what to expect even before it sees full body function. Difference between parameters and arguments. First one is argument. When we call a function, the values we pass the called arguments. Arguments carry a data from the calling function to called function. At the time of the function call, each argument is matched with the parameters. Arguments are also known as actual parameters. For example, int num equal to 20. Call num. Here the num is called argument. On the other hand, parameters are the variables. We define a function header or definition. It receives a value sent by a arguments. Parameters, local variables inside in the function. They are also called formal parameters. For example, int call int num. Printf, the num is percentage %d num. Here the num is called parameter. So that make it simple. Arguments or values we pass when calling a function, and parameters are placeholders that receive those values in function definition. Next, we will see parameter passing. There are two terms we use, formal parameter and actual parameters. First one, formal parameters. They are variables that we declare in the function definition. They are like empty containers that will hold the values when the function is called. Actual parameters, the real values that we pass to the function during function call. For example, in this program, int sum, int a comma int b. Here a and b are formal parameters. When we call the function using sum equal to 10 comma 30, the values 10 and 30 are the actual parameters. Values will be copied into a and b inside a function. Let us formal parameters are defined in the function. Actual parameters are values we pass when we call a function. In this slide, two main ways to pass this argument in C. Pass by value and then pass by reference. First one, pass by value. Only a copy of a value is sent to a function. So if we change it inside the function, it won't affect the original value. And next one is pass by reference. A function directly accesses the original value's memory location. That means any change made inside a function will reflect in the original values. This is useful when we want function to the update values. Let's see the next slide. Arguments. Arguments are very important because they allow use to pass the data into function. It makes our function flexible. In this example, int add int a comma int b. It means we can pass two numbers to added. Without arguments, we have not hard code values, which is not efficient. Okay, next slide is function return type. Function does its job often a returns result. The return type tells us what kind of values it will send back. Function is supposed to give an integer. We use it in return type. If it return nothing, we use void. We can also combine it with arguments. So we have function with no arguments and no return. Next one is no argument but with return. And another one is with argument but no return. It gives flexibility depends on what we need. Next, types of function. There are two types of functions. First one is user defined function and another one is library function. First we discuss about library function. Library function are already written as a built into a compiler. That's why we call them built-in function. For example, include printf, scanf, POW means power, and SQRT means squared. These save us time because we don't have to write a logic ourselves. We can just use them directly. User defined function. It is an function once we write ourselves to perform specific task. For example, we want to check if a number is even or odd. You can write your own function. The structure is the same. We define a same return type, name, parameters, and write the logic inside. Once we return, you can tell function anytime in the program, even multiple times. We saves effort and makes the program easier to manage. Thank you for listening. Today we learned the basics of C functions. In the next session, we will learn more topics. Thank you.